So, welcome to yet another episode of 30 and Thriving. Did you miss us? Because I know I missed you. And my podcast co host, I missed her so much, but she is back with us today. And I'm just so excited, guys. I can't even contain it. I know we have a serious conversation, but I'm so excited. But before I hand over to my podcast co host today, we're going to be diving into an important conversation because I know at some point someone is waiting for something, whether it is love, whether it's a career, a breakthrough, or motherhood. We are all waiting for God to, give us something, whether it's a blessing or whatever it is that you're waiting for. So today we want to dive into, the waiting season. So how are you, Salome, and how are you feeling?
I miss you guys so much. It feels so good to be back on the podcast. How are you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing absolutely amazing. I had missed you guys and we've had amazing episodes in my absence and I hope you guys have learned so much. So today we are joined by my friend and a very powerful woman who is doing wonderful and amazing things on social media. Most of you may know her from her movement called Women in Waiting. And if you haven't attended any Women in Waiting season, this is
What are
any
they doing?
event, this is your sign to start attending. So I am going to let her introduce herself. So welcome, Rejoice, to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Salome. Thank you.
To have you.
I'm excited to be here. And thank you guys for having me. I feel honored to just be here and sit with amazing people on 30 and Thriving. Yeah.
Thank you. So, we just want to know a little bit about yourself and your story, mainly on who you are as a person and probably just a little bit of how the Women in Waiting movement started so that we get to know a bit about yourself.
Okay. So as she has already said, my name is Rejoice Manyeza. Manyeza is my maiden name. So if I learned with you in primary school like I did with Salome, you probably know me with my maiden name. But Manyeza is my marital surname, not maiden. Actually, I am a child of God. I love God. I love anything that has to do with talking about the things of God. I'm there. Um, I like to think I'm a girl's girl. And I think that's how Women in Waiting came about. Yeah. Where I feel like I've had to navigate certain seasons of waiting for certain things from God. And then in those seasons, I'm grateful and privileged that I have a very prayerful mother. But I always feel like there are things that I went through in my generation, which is, our generation, which she didn't get to go through in her time. So when I go to my mom and I say, oh, I'm getting pressures from Instagram because someone is saying they got a car or they're going to the UK or they're getting married, she might be like, "Shinibasare, do you get?" Because in their generation, they didn't have some of these things that we're facing now. So I thought, why don't we build a community where we come together and we have women that are waiting, whatever you're waiting for. And then we also spotlight, I think that's also the other main core element of Women in Waiting, spotlighting women that are doing well in the industry, but they are also Christian women. Because the world has made it seem like for you to make it in life, you have to be, doing junjisiri, right? So you're either dating someone's husband or you've had to use some kind of witchcraft, sorcery, or whatever. So I want to present to the younger women out there, even the older women, the women that are also making it in life, but that trust God. But I want them to show us that whatever we're going through right now, it's not unique to you. They've also had to go through certain things. So when we come together, where Salome was inviting you guys, we have these women come and speak to us and share their journeys of waiting. So I think that's the long and short of how Women in Waiting came about. It's just us having other women come and tell us that you're not waiting alone. And this is not new. You're not the first person. Whatever you're going through, God will come through for you. So that's the summary of the vision of Women in Waiting. And yeah, I think that's what I can say for now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we always have this word thrown around, the phrase, the waiting season. What exactly does it mean, right? What is the waiting season? Because we need to be able to know, am I in the waiting season or is it delay or am I just procrastinating my blessing from God? So I just want to understand from your your own perspective, what is the waiting season?
I think everyone is in a waiting season. Maybe let me start there. The biggest misconception that we had when women in waiting started was people would always ask me, is it for ladies that are not yet married? Because the biggest waiting conversation out there is about marriage.
Yeah.
And I said, no, it's not about just getting married. It's about every aspect of your life. So I could be married, but maybe the next thing I'm waiting for is to have a baby. Once I have a baby, maybe the next thing I'm waiting for is to start a new job. Or once I get that new job, I'm waiting for a promotion. Or you're waiting to start a business. You're waiting to move abroad. So I feel like in every season of our lives, we're waiting for something. But ultimately, we're also waiting for Christ, which is the biggest thing that we are all here gathered in saying, until Christ comes, we want to serve him. So for me, I would like to say the waiting season, it's the entire season of our lives because we are waiting for Christ the whole time. But then there are these categories that we've put where we have milestones we want to reach. I want to get married, so I'm still waiting for the marriage because you can't say I want to have kids before you're married. Okay, no, let's not get into that. But I was going to say no offense to people that have done it otherwise. But if you're doing it right, there's the marriage phase. So you're waiting for marriage, and then you get into the waiting for the children, then all these other things. So at the end of the day, it's just I don't even want to call it a season. I think it's just a place of processing where your blessing is in preparation. And God is saying, I'm about to hand it over to you, but I just need to understand that you're ready to receive this blessing. So if we call it a season, then we have defined ourselves by whatever transactions or whatever things that are happening during that time. So let's just say it's my place of preparation where I'm saying, Lord, for what I've been praying for, you know whether I'm ready or whether I'm not yet ready. So allow me to be ready so that when I receive your blessings, I don't jeopardize them. So I think we're redefining it here at the 10th Thriving.
Right?
If we are redefining.
Yeah.
That's what I can say on that, yes.
I love what you say that people tend to call it a season, yet it's preparation. Because with seasons come and go. But with preparation, it's an ongoing process. Because even after you waiting for, let's say for a husband, you're going to wait for a child. So it's something that's ongoing. And there was a time I was listening to a sermon by Bishop T.D. Jakes, and he was talking about the fast food versus preparing a slow cooked meal. And I want to get into that because my question after this is, why does waiting feel so painful? So he was saying with fast prepared meals, it's like you just take whatever, let's say it's the meat, take it out of the deep freezer, put it in the oven. Before you know it, it's done. Now we have air fryers. It's done. But when you take your time and slow cook it in the pressure cooker, it soaks in all the flavors slowly. But I think it's a painful process because it takes time. And it's a painful process in the sense you are hungry and you want to eat. So it's painful to wait for something that's going to take time. But eventually you're going to enjoy. So I want to ask, why does it feel so painful to be waiting for something?
I'm not yet equipped to answer that wholesomely, but I think I'll try and answer it from my own experiences. I think my season was more painful because I felt like, I'm praying for things and God is just choosing not to do them for me. Because especially for people that have grown up in Christian homes, there's this belief of we go to church to pray so that God hears and answers our prayers. And that's the 1 + 1 = 2. But that's not how life is. When you look at the reality of life, there are things that you pray for, ask God for. And some doors you say wait, some doors you say maybe, some doors you say no, some you say yes. And in those seasons or in those phases where some will be a no, a yes, or whatever it is that's happening, it's so easy for you to feel like God is not hearing me. And then the process becomes more painful. And I think the other thing for me was also coming from a place of there are things that I think I'm ready for, but I wasn't ready for them. And it's only now when I look back and I'm like, okay, had I gotten this at this point in time,
When you actually get
yes, I would have, been irresponsible. When I got my license, I remember I was so excited to start driving. I think I was like in 2 or 3 accidents in like a space of 3 months. They were not like, bad accidents, but it was one of those where I genuinely wasn't ready because I'd just done my, the mandatory 8 lessons, and then you just get on the road.
Oh,
You're getting on
yeah.
the road with people that are experienced, and you're getting on the road with, our Zim drivers.
Yeah.
And you are there, you're just learning. If I had taken time to say, okay, you know what, maybe for the next coming 2-3 weeks, I can move around with an experienced driver. They tell me, okay, you know what, do this, do that. It would have been less hectic. I wouldn't have had gone through these accidents. But because I felt like I now have a license, automatically I have to. And I couldn't get that license. I went to get my license 6 times, but I did it in a space, I think it was like a month. I kept going back every other week. I was like, I have to get it. But it was also God. So sometimes when you see a no, it's not a no. It's not a no, I'm not going to open. It's just a not now.
Yeah, okay.
But because to me, I felt like, why can't I get the license now? I need it now. So I keep going back, and I'm putting so much pressure. And then you end up living in the permissive will of God, which is whereby now God is like, you wanted so much, but then now because you're already so, kuti mwanangu asi mature enough to handle this gift, you end up, messing things up. So I think that's how it becomes painful, because sometimes we don't just want to go through the process. We want it to happen now. If you don't want to give me, I'll continue asking for it, or I'll take it myself. I will put things in my matters in my own hands. So I don't know if that answers it, but I think that's what makes waiting hard for me. But when I accept the season I'm in, oh man, I will preach to you about healing and I'm sick and you will never know. I will talk to you about wholeness and I'm empty inside, but you will never know. Because now when I've accepted that, you know what, the Lord has me here because there's something He is working in me and through me, it has taught me something. Even when I'm in my waiting season, it doesn't stop me from ministering to another person who's waiting. And I can still pray for someone else who's waiting and they receive their blessing. It doesn't take away from God. Rather, it confirms that it's just not your time. Because if you can pray with other people and their things are being done, so what do you mean God answers other people and not you? No, it's just not my time. So sometimes embracing the learning curve or the learning processes helps you to say, you know what, Mwari, I know kuti zviri kurwadza, but I'm just going to hold on and tarry. And while I'm here, allow my life to minister to the other people going through what I'm going through. So I think that's what I can say on that.
And I think I just want to add, I think why the waiting season sometimes feels so hard, because I think as humans, it's in our nature to want to control things. And I think the waiting season requires us to surrender everything to God. I know for myself, I want to influence an outcome so bad. I tell my friends all the time, I know sometimes it can be a good thing and a bad thing. When I want something, I do not jinx my words with God. I tell Him, I want this and I want it this time. And I'm that person that gives God deadlines. So, if I want yes, because we've also been taught that, that's faith. You need to have unshakable faith, and they need, yeah, exactly. But sometimes we don't understand that your faith has to be in alignment with the will of God. So what makes waiting hard is because we don't want to surrender. We want to influence outcomes, and that will actually hinder you from God giving you things when it is right. So yeah. Yeah, and I know so many people are always asking, so why am I single? We keep throwing that that word, why am I single? Why is this happening? Yeah, why has become the anthem for the waiting season, because we don't really want to accept God's timing. And I just want to talk about faithful waiting and looking at the story of Hannah. How do we wait faithfully on God? Yeah.
Waiting faithfully on God.
Yeah.
It's so interesting because before, I think the biggest, like you said, the biggest waiting that's thrown around is about marriage.
Right.
And the more questions come from people around you.
Yeah.
And those questions are the ones that even put pressure on you. So it's everyone around you asking you, when are you getting married? And you're like, I don't know. Things like that. When are you going to have a baby? When are you going to do this? It's the pressures that are coming from the people around you. And I think oftentimes when the pressure then mounts, most people, that's when they then decide, you know what, like you're saying just now, why don't I try helping God? So it's now you going to get help from, the wrong places to try and help God. But on the faithfully waiting, what I can say there is, I think Hannah, when you read Exodus, the Bible actually said, and the Lord had closed Hannah's womb.
Yeah.
So it's not that Hannah couldn't have a child because, she was just, it was just, there was something wrong. I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to say, but what I'm trying to say is God had intentionally done that for that season of Hannah's life because there was something that he wanted Hannah to also birth. So you see, Samuel is the one who's going to ordain David, and David is the one in the lineage of Jesus Christ. She's birthing a nation that's going to birth for us Christ.
Yeah.
So you can't, those blessings are not fast tracked.
can't
You
rush
don't wake
them,
up and, you don't just wake up and you have someone like Samuel who's going to ordain David, who's the man after God's own heart, and who's going to lead the lineage of Christ. Those blessings are the slow cooked ones, like you said. It's a slow cooking process where you can't put the things in a microwave and then you just want to see the spaghetti, the noodles, they're ready in 3 minutes.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now, the thing I remember asking the ladies that came for the February edition is, can God trust you to carry someone who's going to be the father of nations or who's going to be such a big prophet?
Okay. Yeah.
Because sometimes God is looking at you and is saying, the moment I give Salome the gift of prophecy, the next thing she's going to start telling everyone about Rejoice's life. Because when you're a prophet or a prophetess, you are entrusted with delicate information, confidential information. Yes. So he knows the moment he gives you information about me, you are not yet ready enough to keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
The moment you have a revelation or understanding of the next person, you're looking for the next person to tell about.
Yeah.
And you have lost the faithful part of it. Because he just needs you to just hold it in, pray for Rejoice. If it's a weakness I have.
Yeah.
So I think it then ties it back to sometimes the things that we're praying for or the things that we deserve or the things that we need, they're right here. But our attitude, our heart posture, we can't be trusted by God yet.
You're right.
So even if he gives you marriage right now, he knows Kuti at the back of your head, the marriage for you is so that I show it off to people. It's not even I want to praise God and thank you for this. It's one of those where now it's to other people. But you were just in the waiting season yourself.
Oh, the trends. Yeah.
Yes. So for me, faithfully waiting of the phase where you're waiting and you have to be faithful just requires God to refine me so that I can be trusted with what he is giving me. And if I can be trusted with serving in his house, if I can be trusted with walking with other people going through the same journey, and my heart posture is in the right place, I really believe when the blessing then comes, you understand the magnitude and you understand what you've had to carry this whole time. So that's how I would take that.
And I think also like looking at the story of Hannah, for me, I think the word faithfulness means being unshakable. Because I think I was reading scripture and I actually wrote it down, 1 Samuel 1:6, that says, her rival kept provoking her in order to irritate her. So it means when you're in the waiting season, you're going to have things that want to shake you. But what does faithfulness looks like? It looks like you not being shaken. Because if she was someone else, she could have retaliated. She could have looked for other ways, to make sure that she has a baby and all of these things. But she remained unshakable. And also the most important thing is that she ran to God. I think that is what faithfulness looks like. Most people, when we are in our waiting season, we look for external solutions. It could be with friends, going to witch doctors, trying every other solution except God, because in your head, you're telling yourself that God has failed me. But God has not failed you. In every circumstance, take your prayers to God. And that's what Hannah did, to an extent where the priest actually thought that she was drunk because she was praying persistently. So I think faithfulness requires you to be unshakable, not to be faced by what society is telling you, what people are telling you, and to always take your prayers to God, whatever it is that you're waiting for, whether it is marriage, whether it is a career, always go back to the source, because that's what people are missing, the source. Faithfulness requires you to go back to your source. Yeah.
And I also liked what both of you are just driving at, that in the process of waiting, God wants you to birth something before you actually have the final product of whatever it is you're waiting for, which is what we probably call character development.
Yeah.
So I want us to talk about that, about how do we use that waiting season to self-develop ourselves. Like, let's say you've identified, I really have a problem with this. I have a problem with comparison. I have a problem with just talking too much, sharing people's business that I have no business sharing. So how do you use that season, so we can help our sisters out there? Like, how do we use that season to self-develop ourselves?
So it's funny because I think as women, it's natural for us to want to talk about people's stories and people's things.
It's tea.
Exactly. Then you're like, did you know? And you want to tell the next person. But I think for me, I've had to learn it the hard way, where I would be so excited about just sharing my life. I just want people to know that God is so good. Like, it was not even from a bad place. It's like, God is so good. I got this. God is so good. I'm doing this. But now I realized it's not everyone who's celebrating your wins.
Right.
And there are things that would be in the pipeline that I would announce prematurely, and they never actually get to be birthed. Because I'm the one who caused the miscarriage in the spirit when I told the wrong people. But oftentimes we don't know that because you're just telling everyone. So you can't even trace back to see Kuti, who was the wrong person here. So I remember some 2-3 years ago, I was believing God for this job, and I told all my friends, this is my job, I'm getting it, and I didn't get it. And then the job was re-advertised. And this time around, I said, let me try something different. The only person I told was my mom and my husband, and no one else knew. I said, I just want to see. And when I got the job, I think it was the time where there was a turning around in my life, where I realized it's not everything you have to share with everyone, especially when you're waiting. You're probably telling the person who's praying against your marriage that, oh, all my relationships are failing. And they're like, good, it's working, whatever I'm doing. And people don't really have to go to a nganga for us to say, "Warukukuroya." Some of the words that people release, the Bible says the tongue. The tongue has the power of life and death. So it's what people say about your progress in life. And in that season, if you're then not careful, you continue saying things and limiting yourself because you want to overshare. So for me personally, I've learned not to share things happening in my life. My friends know, and I know sometimes it annoys them, publicly apologizing. But I don't like people posting my personal life on social media. I don't like people telling people that I've done this or I've traveled. So in my recent travel, my other friend had already posted, and I was like, why? Now I have to acknowledge, because now everyone is like asking me, where are you? But I will post about something that has happened in my life. I only posted my wedding 9 months later. For me, it's how I'm keeping this thing sacred. So because I know. So in your waiting season, I think my biggest thing is on the character development you mentioned, Salome. The biggest thing is kungonyarara. We talk a lot as women, but just be quiet. Let them not know what's happening in your life. Let them wonder, is she single? Is she married? Is she about to get married?
People think that's being shady. Like, why are you not telling people that you're in a
Guys, I
relationship?
could be married. You don't.
Exactly. No,
Right.
just
Just keep quiet.
And okay, there are things that we obviously can't hide, like pregnancy. But especially if it's your first pregnancy, we only know what 6-7 months later. And
Right. Oh, and on that pregnancy issue, there is actually something I came across on TikTok. A preacher who was saying that, I think it was Apostle Joshua Selman, who was saying that there's a reason why pregnancy is hidden. Like, it doesn't grow outside in, it grows inside out. There's a reason why God made it that way. So it's a secret thing. So the womb covers it. And then it's sacred, so it's covered up. So he was actually talking about this thing of sharing things prematurely. And I must confess,
have you been sharing?
I overshare.
Girl,
I
stop.
overshare.
Stop.
Now maybe that's why some of these
things are not working
are not
out.
working. Because from the time, my problem is from the time I start talking to someone, I'm like, I'm so excited to share. I'm like,
Not
okay.
even
But
bad.
you're so right. Yeah.
You know what? Maybe what I'll say is have a safe space. It doesn't
Yeah,
have
that's
to be.
true.
And
Everyone.
I'm grateful to God for women in waiting, because I've had other ladies come to me and say, I can't tell this to my friends, but I want you to know. Because another thing, you have tested the spirit. I'm not saying, I have the right spirit, I have the spirit of God, please. But it's better for you to have someone who you look up to spiritually, who you can trust with certain things and they help you pray, rather than telling
everyone.
everyone.
Yes, have a safe space, because out of your 15 friends, they have their 15 friends as well, who have their 15 friends. So before you know it, my boyfriend is acting up. Maybe there's another friend of a friend of a friend who's interested in your boyfriend. She says there's a loophole. They are okay.
Right.
So
That's
just
my moment.
just have a safe space, have a small.
Yeah.
My mom always used to say to me, I'm only realizing it now. Why do you need friends when you're for your mother?
My mother also says that. Like, and also we are 6
Really?
sisters in my family. Like, you
Now
have got
that
all
now
these
that you're
6
saying
friends.
that,
Why do you
I don't
need?
remember any of my mom's friends, like friends. Like it's either they're people from church or people from work, but she doesn't have like a bestie or the type of
That's where
thing
the
that.
problem comes. And I
Exactly.
think also, I just want us to backtrack a little bit, because when you're in your waiting season, I want to speak specifically about the issue of marriage. People say it's a moment of self development, like take a course, travel, go on dates, do this. Like, I feel like that's overrated, because you could be in your waiting season and you're doing all these things, but still the husband is not coming. At what point do you just say enough is enough? Because it can be exhausting, because you start to ask yourself, is something wrong with me? Because you are traveling, you are going on the solo dates, you have done the masters, now you're even doing a PhD.
My question to you is, who are you doing it for?
Okay, because I said it's
Are you doing
it's
it for the
okay.
husband or for yourself?
You're waiting for your husband, right? So you're waiting to be found. So people say, whilst you're waiting to be found, develop yourself, so that when that person finds you, they find you ready. So yes, in a way, I'm doing it for myself, but I'm also doing it for visibility, so that whoever is supposed to find me, I'm findable. Yes, and like, you have done everything to be foundable, but no one is.
GPS is just not locating.
Exactly.
I like when you ask that, because I was looking for so we're going to Bulawayo in July, and then for that edition of Women in Waiting, and then the edition in September, our theme is coming from Matthew 11 verse 12. I was looking for the vision that I want. I don't want the one that's saying trying to leak, but it says and from the time John the Baptist began preaching until now, the kingdom of God has been has been forcefully advancing in violent people. I like the one that says violent people take it by force. Okay. And from the day, okay, it's King James Version. And from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violent take it by force. I was going to say, when you have self-developed, when you have done the things that you know you're supposed to do, there's I think just like a clock. Let's give an example of a clock. That round clock, not the digital ones, the one with the hour hand and the minute hand. When it's saying 12 o'clock on your phone, and then on the clock it's saying maybe 9 o'clock, the whatever the smaller one is pointing to night and whatever is happening, then it means there's something wrong with that, because there's a certain alignment that's supposed to happen with both the digital and this one. This, I think it's the analog. I don't know. Yes. There are certain things in our lives where you yourself, you know, I am now in misalignment. The time where you feel in your spirit, by now I'm supposed to have achieved 1, 2, 3. It hasn't happened. There should be something wrong. There are times where when you tap into your spiritual being, you really can sense, no, this is not normal. I've had instances where I have said, you know what's happening here is normal. It's not normal. I'll give you a silly example. I don't break things. I don't burn things. So I will iron clothes and I will not burn. I will cook and I will not burn the meat. I will do the dishes and put in my plate. But this one time I don't know what I was doing. Then I broke my blender. And then the following day I broke a plate. And I said, no, I don't do this. So I prayed. Someone will say, why are you praying? Go put the blender in your plate. To me, it's not normal. There's something that's wrong. And I prayed because I know when it's not manifesting in the spirit, in the physical, it means in the spirit it has already manifested. So I prayed and I said, no, this is not what I do. This is not who I am. So I want to go back to the marriage aspect. There are times where you have to violently take it. I'm not saying go and take people's husbands and go and take people's boyfriends.
And
No.
pray with someone's name in your prayer closet.
No. There's a pastor who once shared that if you find yourself praying for someone who's with someone, it's witchcraft.
Yeah, I saw it.
There's no explanation on that. It's witchcraft.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is there are times where you have to make a demand on the heavens because there's a misalignment.
Okay.
This message is not unless, and I think that's like 1%, unless you are 21 and really in your life you feel like I'm late for marriage, which I'm saying you are probably on the 1%. This message is for the women that have been in the season of preparation, waiting. You have probably gone to school, you've done your degree or your diploma, you've gotten your certificate, you have bettered yourself. And now you really sense, Kutumari, I'm supposed to get married. Then you go to the heavens and you put a demand on him. I like people that, I like when you said, I kind of sometimes prescribe to God. There's nothing wrong with that. There are times where you have to go and say, you know what, God, I know marriage is in your plans for my life. This has taken too long. There must be something wrong.
And actually, that was going to be like my question, because I wanted to to ask, like, at what point do you know I'm in my waiting season, and at what point do you feel like maybe there's an anti-marriage, there's an anti-marriage spirit like over my life? At what point do you get to know that? And I'm glad you've actually answered that. Like, you get to a point where you just have to place a demand on the heavens. You can carry on. I just wanted to say, like, you are really walking in the spirit.
Because there are things that are not normal, but that we've normalized.
Okay, that's true.
I like that they happen because they, at the end of the day, they bring glory to God. But it's only a few times in the Bible, if you read when the disciples ask, I think it was about the blind men. They asked why was he born blind, and then he said, so I don't know the verse in English, but that's the response that he gave. I don't know if there are not a lot of examples like that. Most of the times when you see people had to contend, you're contending like Daniel. Your response came the first day you knelt and said, Lord, I want this. Then the Prince of Persia came and then he took it. So imagine if Daniel had stopped praying at day 2 or day 3 or day 4, listened to what people are saying, oh, you're too old, or it's never going to happen. He took 21 days and he prayed until his response came. So when your spirit says, this is misaligned, you also need to take action. Another thing that I would say is dreams are often showing you or highlighting some of these things. So sometimes when you have these dreams that you also don't understand, it's also a telltale sign. And when you've prayed for certain things sometimes yourself and you see, get a covering. Go to the pastors. Get them to pray for you, because it's not everything that you can do it on your own. But can I just
Oh, wow.
there's a song that says, that's a
And I think that's I really love what you just said, because I think the church also does not make it easy for people who are in waiting, because they just tell us to keep praying, but they don't recognize that sometimes there's something that is actually wrong. Yes, you've been praying, because when you're in the waiting season, especially when it comes to issues to do with marriage or your career, there is that desire. And like people say, if you get the desire, it means God has placed it on your heart. And it means it's your time and it's your season. And you really know that this is my time, this is my season, but nothing is what? Nothing is happening. That's why we end up being like Sarah, trying to, hold God's hand and like help God to make things
to read the whole generation of Ishmaelites who
yeah.
to everyone.
And I think it translates to people settling, because you're just like, okay, the church keeps telling me to pray, but maybe there is something wrong with me that needs, like specific prayers, someone to really deliver you from something. And you end up settling for the guy that, maybe is not even in alignment with God's will for your life. You end up compromising yourself, especially to do with purity. Because I know with my mom, she's always like, mwanangu kana mwana chingoita, it's okay. So you're like,
and
you end up just like, okay, I'm this big age. What if I just have my own baby? And even considering issues to do with IVF, you end up trying to help God because, society is telling you to just keep praying, but they don't really address the actual problem that might be at hand. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this was a very good conversation. Like,
Yeah.
I wish we had more time, but maybe just like some parting words, like, because we're definitely going to invite you.
I'm available. Please, people, write in the comments. Invite her back.
Right? Yeah, we're
Please write
definitely
back.
going to invite you back. But this was really amazing.
No, thank you so much.
There's somebody who is out there waiting for anything, a car, a job, a husband, a child, whatever it is that they're waiting for. What is that something that you would tell them, or a Bible verse that, changed probably your life, that you would want, you think might also change their life as well?
Okay. I wrote it down. Let me try look for it. Oh, there it is. I guess this was meant for this part because I just got this yesterday when I was in during my devotion. So it was I would like to say it was also just the Holy Spirit ministering to me, but this is my encouragement to whoever is watching me now. He was asking me that if I parted the Red Sea, how vast are the waters that you think are going to drown you? So if I could part, I wanted to come with the dimensions of the Red Sea so that we see the extent to which if he did something like that. And he says, nothing in your life ever comes to me by surprise. I know your life from the end to the beginning. I have counted your days and I know everything that's so. There's never a day where you will fall into a trap and then I'll be like, oh, I'm surprised. No, I'm not surprised. He has known this day. He has known the day that you're watching this podcast would come. Even before time began, he already knew. So when you call on to him, do not ask from a place of being a slave. Let the posture of your heart ask from a place of a child who's speaking to their father. A complete surrender to serve God all the days of your life until he brings the things that you're waiting for.
Wow.
So I think those are my parting words. I got this last night. I wrote it down. And I hope it encourages someone out there. Yeah, whatever you're going through, it's going to be okay. Hold on. It's going to be okay.
Oh, that was really amazing.
Yeah.
And maybe you can also just shed more light on the upcoming events of Women in Waiting. Yeah, like,
So we are meeting on the 11th of July. I'm hoping there's some Bulawayo people in your that are watching this podcast. So we're coming to Bulawayo on the 11th of July. We'll be at New Life Jabula. The tickets are just $10. So imagine $10. To save $1 a day.
With all this
It will be big.
information, I feel
Just
like it's
$10.
yeah, we need to go. Let's take 30 and thriving
Yes.
to Bulawayo.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we will have amazing women of God come and minister to us. Then the Harare edition is going to be on the, the date now might change, but it's in September.
Okay.
So we are having the Harare edition in September. Tickets for the Harare edition are on www.ticketbox.co.zw. Just look up Women in Waiting. And even for all the other updates, if you look us up on social media, you'll find it there. If you want to follow my personal page, I'll post about Women in Waiting, but it's on the Women in Waiting page. Yes.
Thank you very much.
He's welcome.
so much. And I think you didn't ask me my parting words. I had parting words, guys. So before we started rolling, we were just talking about alignment because most people think that if you are in waiting, it's about you. And I'm going to talk specifically about careers and marriage. So you need to be in alignment with the will of God if you are also in waiting. So if you're praying for marriage, you might be ready. The desire is there. But what if your husband is still in preparation? What if your husband is still in his waiting season? So it means that you also need to pray for your future husband and ask God so that, he not speeds it up, but he makes an alignment so that you guys meet at the same time. Because imagine having a desire for something and the person that you are desiring for is not even yet ready. They're still in their, preparation season. So even if it's a career, you might be ready for a new job, but it's the company that you want prepared for you. So pray for that company as well. So waiting seasons are also for alignment. So pray that you're aligned with God and his will for your life.
Clock it.
Do I clock it with this one or this one?
I think it's this.
But yeah, that's a wrap. We are going to definitely bring Rejoice back for another episode. Because I feel like this could have been an hour's conversation because I know someone out there still needs to hear how to prepare for their waiting season. But see you on the next episode. Please do like, comment, subscribe.
share.
Subscribe, please.
Yes, let's just
know in the
watch and
comment
also
section
and
what
send to
you're
your friends.
waiting
And
to
yeah,
see
we'd
like
really love
you.
to hear from you. Until the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.